All right, here we go. Ready? Go. That's it right there. Perfect.
First workout, and Yancey was putting him through, this workout to get him better. And he and Gino just said, look, we just need like 8 weeks or something like that. And they're real plugged into the strength and conditioning, network in the country.
That's it right there. Good job. Come on, come on.
They were talking with other coaches that had worked with athletes that had leukemia and were trying to do a comeback. And so they kind of had an idea of what they wanted to do.
There was an undeniable mission and spirit, that was going on. So it was literally like, we have to keep him from hurting himself, per se, or pushing too hard. It was just powerful. It makes me get choked up thinking about it now.
I go through the thought process, am I doing the right thing? Should I be allowing him to do this? Or is it too soon? Are we putting his body or anything else in jeopardy? Because going through the rounds of chemo that he went through and the countless transfusions, that's hard on your body. I'm not a doctor, but I just know what I've read and what they've told me is that it's just not normal to be able to come back that soon.
He's the best dad ever. Just being able to spend all those days with him. He'd only go home to shower and get new clothes, and then he'd be right back up there bringing me dinner or whatever I needed, and leaned on each other and leaned on our faith. He'd give me the best little speeches, motivational talks. He would always tell me, the Lord's arm has not been shortened, and it's just kind of stuck with us since, and that was very special. She was a former nurse also, and so she was able to help me understand some of the medical terminology stuff, and she was able to talk with the nurses and doctors about stuff they were doing, so that helped a lot too. The whole community just kind of dropped whatever they had going and were just ready to, they just wanted to do something. So they would bring meals by, just all the prayers that they were sending our way, definitely could feel them.
The team, the coaches, the teachers, the families, the outreach to support us through it was amazing. I know that there was the home game that they did an announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, back in the starting lineup at left guard, number 61, Reynolds.
And he had just put on Twitter that the comeback has started. And when they announced it and the stands, everybody stood up and was just cheering and clapping for him, and he was out there, we knew, wow. And that was pretty emotional.
It was very exciting, getting to go through warm-ups with the guys and running out the tunnel, suited up again.
Seeing him run down the field was, it was all that we had hoped for him, for sure.
Walking out with the captains with all my gear on, it was really special. I'll probably never feel like that ever again. It was just a cool moment. O-linemen don't really get stats, but when I like to keep track of that one. I've never given up a sack in a game out of my whole high school career, so I'm pretty proud of that. And it definitely brought the team closer. The team chemistry was just like it had never been like that before.
One thing that was always really, really special was that he would always look up at me and we would catch eye contact. Didn't say anything, not really even a head nod, but it was always just like, hey, how am I doing? Or did you see that, Dad? And that sort of stuff.
After every drive, I'd look up at him and it'd either be a head nod or he'd tell me, you gotta get going.
That was something that I really, really missed. And so to get him back on the field and to have that eye contact was really, really special.
Never experienced anything like that before. I mean, I'd never gone undefeated ever in a wrestling season. So that was really cool. And just getting to be a 3-time state champion the rest of my life. Like, not a lot of people get to say that, and it was cool getting to be back in that arena and that environment again.
You know, Deb and I had a big hug. there was some parents around us that were big hugs, and there were some other parents and coaches, and it just was big embraces. That's all I can tell you.
I think through all the adversity that Sam came through, it created a very consistent maturity about him, and I think that's why he dominated. Like, he literally, there was no one that really came close, and that really has to do with his mentality, and I think a lot of that has been formed and shaped through all the things that he went through, and I honestly think it was probably a blessing, especially as we get to the end and there's so much pressure on you.
All of his wins were emotional, but that one was extra emotional because we knew, we saw where he came from. We saw, you know, the nights that he was so sick. He was so sick. And the pride that we have for him as our son, that he's better. And then he accomplished his goal in such a big way. Never lost a match this year, never lost a match. We were so proud of him, and to see how happy and proud he was of himself for what he accomplished it was answered prayers.
I think she tears up every time she talks about it. And so it gets even more special every time I see her tear up when she talks about it. And I didn't even know if it was possible for us to get closer because we're such a tight family. We just all have grown up liking the same things. It definitely brought us closer.
Sam's dream was to play college football, and that dream became a reality when one school offered him while he was still in the hospital.
Southwestern Oklahoma State, they called me, had no clue I was in the hospital. They were just asking how things were going, and I told them what was going on. And even after all that, the O-line coach there, he said, you have a scholarship here, and even if you aren't able to play again, we'll still honor it, still love to have you up here. We know you'd make the team better regardless. And that was just such a special moment, especially it being my first scholarship offer. I was in the hospital. I didn't know if I was going to be able to play again. Didn't really know what the end result was going to be. And so knowing that someone still wanted me to play for them and was going to risk that was really special. It was just all meant to be. I'm definitely grateful for all the people that have kept up with my story and that have reached out to me and that have come up to me and talked. I would hope I'm an inspiration. I hope I can inspire people to just not give up when they get tough news like that. And I just hope I'm able to use this story to bring glory to God and bring other people to Him that might not know Him. We finally asked the doctors the other day if they'd ever seen anything like this or heard of it. They said never. How His glory was able to shine through those hard times and what I was able to do in my comeback. And so I mean, it just truly goes to prove that His arm hasn't been shortened.
Sam now has a little bit of free time to spend with his horse at home, putting a peaceful smile on his face.
His name's Duke. We named him that because he's born on John Wayne's birthday. He's a good, gentle horse. It's a lot of fun being able to have that responsibility. They're just like big dogs. When we're out here with them, we just try to make sure we're building that relationship with them so they trust us. Kind of feels like stepping back in time a little bit. I grew up watching Westerns, all the old like Gunsmoke, Rifleman, all those old TV shows, John Wayne movies. And getting to have a horse and do what they got to do is pretty cool, special. Very grateful for it. They're very social animals. They know if you're sad, angry, happy, they can sense that. And it's just cool knowing that they know how you feel. It's a unique responsibility to have a horse.
Your mom described you as a gentle giant, so do you see like there's similarities between you two?
A little bit. He's definitely on the bigger side of horses. So pretty cool.
And your major in college is wanting to do something in ag?
Yes, agricultural business, like land and ranch management.
It's amazing to think where he came in 12 months, especially after watching him win that state championship.
Being able to come back, play games of football, and compete at a high level, and then come back and go undefeated and win my 3rd state championship in wrestling. And just all that in less than a year, just unbelievable.